Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up Podcast. Today, we're starting our divisional previews with the AFC East. Maybe this is a spoiler. I'm rocking the Drake May jersey today. So maybe I got some surprises up my sleeve. That's Nick. I'm Theo. This is the Drafted Up Podcast. You know where to find us at DraftedUp_pod over on the Twitter. More importantly, the show you can watch or listen to wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, any other app that plays podcasts. We're there. Search Drafted Up Podcast, like, rate, subscribe, review, share. We appreciate the support. Nicholas, how you doing today?
Good, dude. Good, dude. Fantastic 4-day, Thursday, premiere night. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
Got to get the podcast out of the way, so
yes, sir. It's I'm pretty jazzed for Fantastic Four, so you'll probably hear us chit-chat a little bit about that next week.
Never spoilers, though, but we'll probably chat it up for sure. It's
we'll tell you.
It's going to be hard for it to top Superman in my eyes, but I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be really good, to be honest.
Yeah, Superman was good, yeah. Reel it up.
So good.
This is the Reel It Up podcast.
This is the Reel It Up podcast. We're talking movies.
Yeah,
but no, it's going to be good. Fantastic Four, I don't doubt it's going to be good. Galactus looks amazing. So here we go.
We saw a little Scream Unseen on Monday, the new Pete Davidson horror flick, The Home. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was better than I thought it would be. Yeah, so it's worth watching. So if you just need a horror movie to pass time,
it's a fun, it's campy horror.
Good popcorn movie, and I'm about some good popcorn movies. All right,
hell yeah.
Speaking of popcorn movies,
into the next Pete Davidson horror movie, Bodies, which is really good. I recommend that. So,
speaking of popcorn movies, there's one real good popcorn team in this division, and that's the Buffalo Bills. They're the team you want to sit and watch on TV. The other ones, we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. If Miami's healthy, maybe they're a good popcorn team. New England's got a bright side. Maybe the Jets are fun. We'll dive all into those four teams here today.
I think it's a 2-horse race for second place.
Speaking of the Bills, they got new helmets. They're bringing back the red helmets. They look fresh. I like them better than the whites. I would switch the white to the alternate, sort of like how Minnesota does their white, do that Winter Warrior stuff, and just do an all white Bills jersey with the white helmet and the white pants, and then make the reds the permanent. But
I like it.
What do we know? Saints also got a new jersey. Fun stuff coming out. Check those out. That's not a fun listen to. I'm not going to describe what the jerseys look like.
The Commanders, I guess, quote for quote, throwback jerseys.
The Super Bowl era, yeah.
Yeah, those look really nice. I like those a lot, obviously. But they were clean back when they were wearing them with Jason Campbell, and I remember those jerseys.
Jason Campbell.
So
the big Theo guy out of Auburn.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But the whites look fresh. I like them.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into this division. We're going to go in the order that they finished last year. So we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. Last season, they were 13-4. They obviously won the division. Their win total this year for the 2025 season is set at 11.5. So the Bills, they obviously got superstar quarterback Josh Allen. We'll start there. Last season, he finished as QB2. His current ADP, he's going as quarterback 1 at the 2-9 spot, so mid to late second round. I have him projected as my quarterback 1 last season, 3,731 yards, a 63.6 completion percentage, 28 touchdowns, 6 interception. That was almost a 6% touchdown rate for him and only a 1.2 interception rate. 530 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns. Not much to really talk about with Josh Allen. He is a superstar. If you can get him in fantasy, you're locked in at quarterback. You don't got to worry about drafting another one. And you're going to be happy at the end of the day because there's not really a world where Josh Allen disappoints you. Sans injury and full years into his career, he has not missed a game. So knock on wood. But Josh Allen is as safe as it gets in fantasy football.
Yeah, him and Lamar should be the first 2 quarterbacks taken. If you want to take Lamar over Allen, I get it. I think Lamar has better weapons around him. Allen's, it's so weird, has the weapons around him are weird. Obviously, James Cook is a really good running back,
Mhm.
but like his passing options just aren't what
They're just
elite
guys.
quarterback.
They're Jags.
Yeah, they're not anything special. I mean, Keon Coleman has a chance to take the step up. Dalton Kincaid maybe could have a big bounce back year, but it's a whole lot of question marks besides Josh Allen, to be honest.
Mhm.
Even James Cook, you don't know where his touchdowns lean. Like, they were so far into the one category where he only had 2 the one season. And then last year, I think he had like 16, 17 total touchdowns.
Yeah,
So
18 touchdowns last year for
yeah,
James
which
Cook.
is crazy. And I don't know.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah, but Josh
It's a weird
Allen,
offense besides Josh Allen, for
yeah,
sure.
Josh Allen, you read it a few episodes ago. Like his finishes are just never outside
Amazing.
the top
They're out,
3.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Yeah. So there's really not too much to dive into on Josh Allen.
His passing yards did take a big step back last season, though. And that's because he doesn't really have options. So I don't expect him to push the mid 4,000s, but I think he can get closer to the 4,000 mark than he was last year. Would you say he had 37?
3,700, yeah.
3,700. So that's a big step back for Allen. So I think it's going to be around the 4,000 mark again this season. I think he's going to push that again.
I got him projected at 3,900, give or take, right now. But let's talk about the running backs. James Cook last season, he finished as RB8. He's currently going as the RB14, which is end of the 3rd round. He's going at the last pick of the 3rd round, the 312. Obviously, we're baking in that touchdown regression. It's showing in his ADP, considering he was 8 last year, and he's going 14. I have him currently as my RB15. He had 1,009 yards on 207 carries, 16 touchdowns, almost averaged 5 a clip, 32 catches on 38 targets, so sure hands, 258 yards, 2 additional touchdowns through the air. But 18 touchdowns is such an outlier. So were his other year where he had 2.
Exactly,
So,
and that's why, like, even when he had the 2, we were bumping up James Cook because we knew the 2 was dumb. So we knew it was going to get better. We didn't think it was going to get that much better.
Yeah.
So now we kind of have to pull it back down. But going RB14, I think that's really good value.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not going RB8 because I think that would be way too rich for my liking.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going around guys like Breece Hall and Alvin Kamara and guys like that. And I would happily take Cook over those 2 guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like with Cook, like it is concerning that he was RB8, only RB8 with 18 touchdowns.
That is crazy. If I say an RB has 18 total touchdowns, that's almost a lock
5.
to be top 5. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. But Buffalo, they want to run a committee. Ray Davis is going to see his fair share of work. Ty Johnson's going to be involved. I didn't put Ty Johnson in our docket because I don't think he's got a ton of fantasy relevance, but I think Ray Davis, he does. Last season, he finished as the RB40. He's currently going as the RB49. He's being drafted in the 13th round at the beginning, 13-4. 442 yards on the ground last year on 113 carries, 3 touchdowns, 17 catches on 19 targets, 189 yards, an additional 3 touchdowns. So it's 6 total touchdowns as the 2nd, maybe 3rd running back on the roster last year. I currently have him as my RB53, but like I'm comfortable drafting Ray Davis at the end of drafts just because there is utilization there. And if James Cook does get hurt, the Bills are going to force feed him and Ty Johnson, where then Ty Johnson becomes a viable ad as well if Cook misses extended time, because Buffalo wants to establish the run. Like James Cook had 207 carries as the lead back, and Ray Davis had 113. That's a good chunk of work for a backup running back.
I think it's going to be close. I think Cook's attempts is going to be close to that again. I think Davis is going to go up a little bit. I'm expecting. What'd you say at 113?
113 last year.
I think I have him for like 135-ish, 140. So I think it's going to go up. I think his rushing touchdowns are going to go up. His receiving touchdowns might dip down a little bit, but it's about fluctuation of like how much Ray Davis is going to eat into a committee back, because it is going to be a committee with all 3 of them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And Josh
Allen. Well, exactly. Josh Allen's going to eat up touchdowns in the red zone, but Cook had a fair share of red zone touchdowns last year, which I'm shocked about, to be honest. But I think it's going to be a committee with all 3, but I don't think Ty Johnson is going to be quote for quote fantasy relevant, like you said.
He'll be real life relevant for Buffalo.
Exactly. He's going to be a real life kind of guy, but I think Ray Davis has a world where he's RB 35-ish, and he has close to double-digit touchdowns, 600, 700 yards.
Do you have your rankings in front of you that you know where you have your guy, Ray Davis?
No, I have my divisional stuff, but I can quick pull it up.
Yeah. Like James Cook, we brought up the touchdown regression. I have him there.
I have him running back 44.
Okay, so that's better than we finished, or it's a little under where he finished last year at 40, but it's higher than where he's going. He's going 49. I have him at 53 just because I think Ty Johnson's still going to fluctuate in there as well.
I agree.
What number of touchdowns, like, are you happy with for James Cook? Like obviously you're happy with 18, but like what's the lowest total? Where you're just like, if James total Cook touchdowns? Is your RB1, yeah, what's your happy, like, I'm cool with that number for him?
It's got to be 10. It's got to be like 10 total touchdowns. Like I was eight rushing, 2 receiving, 7 rushing, 3 receiving.
Okay.
I want him to put, because that's still an 8 touchdown decrease. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of points, dude. I want him to hit 10 total touchdowns. In an offense like this, I know he can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I would probably say 8 is like, if he's my RB2, I'm good with 8. If he's my RB1, I do want 10 total touchdowns from James Cook. But yeah, I like where he's going. I have him at 15. He's going 14, so I'm content. And he's really, we brought that up during the running back episode. He's really the last running back where I'm content with him being like, if I'm going to go one hero RB, James Cook's pretty much my tier break for that.
Yeah, I think guys under him like Breece Hall, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, Aaron Jones, I'm taking the shot on James Cook for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Just because I know the touchdown upside, it might not decrease that much. He might have 14, 15 total touchdowns this year because it's the Bills' offense. And he's super efficient, to be honest. And it's not like he had huge like touchdown spike weeks. I think he scored in every game except 4 last season.
Yeah, they weren't
so
like
he was consistently scoring
5.
touchdowns.
Yeah, so, like you said, if efficient runner, he averaged almost 5 yards a carry, so it's not like he's getting like
unlimited work.
4.
He's still gonna produce.
Yep, he takes advantage of the workload he gets, and I think there's room for him to receive more work in the receiving game as well, just because there are question marks at the wide receiver position. There's no real true alpha as a pass catcher. So let's transition right into there. Khalil Shakir, he's their quote unquote number 1 receiver. Last season he finished as wide receiver 37. He's currently going as wide receiver 38, going at the end of the 7th. He's always open. 7-11 is his current draft position. I actually have him a little bit higher than his ADP. I have him at 35, but same bucket. Last season, he had 76 catches on 100 targets, 821 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaged 8 yards a target, 10.8, almost 11 yards per reception. Khalil Shakir is sure-handed. He doesn't drop a ton of passes. Like, there was that one season where he had like an 84% completion rate, and he had like the record for like most, or was approaching the record for like most catches in a row without a drop. So he is the just go to, like, to put up, but there is a floor with Khalil Shakir. He's not going to get 1,300 yards, 1,200 yards. He's a borderline 1,000-yard guy if he stays healthy, but in full PPR, he's got more value because he could approach 100 catches if he stays healthy all season, but he's not going to score a ton of touchdowns. He's not going to get a ton of big play yards. Like, his first year, his yards per catch was like 16.1. That's not really his game. He's more in this 10, 11 yards per catch, where he just has a nice floor. He is a good bench receiver, occasional flex guy in my eyes. But I'm pretty much on par with where he's going. I have him at 35. He's going at 38.
Yeah, I have him at 39. So, again, in that same bucket for sure. And he's like a really, really good version of Wan'Dale Robinson. He's going to run the small, short routes, clean as hell. He's going to catch the ball.
He's got some yak ability where Wan'Dale catches the ball and somehow always gets stripped.
I think, which is weird because Wan'Dale could take one to the house. He did it in college a couple times. He has the yak ability. He just doesn't get open field plays. It's so weird watching Wan'Dale play. But yeah, I like Shakir where he's going. I wouldn't take him higher than that, to be honest. But like you said, he's got a floor to where I think our next guy we're talking about, Keon Coleman, could have the ceiling in this offense.
Yeah.
It's risky. It's so risky, so I get it, but if one of these guys was take the step forward, it would be a Keon Coleman.
Yeah, like Shakir, it all depends on your roster build-up. You really, like, I personally wouldn't want him as my second receiver I draft. He's
Shakir?
more, he's more,
no, good God,
I don't
no.
want to take him until, like, he's my last flex guy or my first bench player. That's really where I'm happy with Khalil Shakir on my roster. I don't want to have to, like, have him start all the time because he does have a minimal ceiling.
Yeah, no, I agree. With both guys' current ADP being Keon Coleman and Shakir, I would honestly rather take Keon Coleman.
Yeah, Keon Coleman. Last season, he finished as wide receiver 71. He is currently going as the wide receiver 53, exactly 3 rounds after Khalil Shakir. He's going at the 10-11. I have him at 45, so I am above ADP by a good amount. Last season, 29 catches on 57 targets, 556 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he was averaging 19.2 yards per reception, almost 10 yards per target at 9.8. Coleman does give them the big play, big body, just contested catch potential wide receiver, and his ceiling is a top 24 receiver. More likely if he hits, he's probably going to be a locked in flex guy, but it could just be touchdowns too. He could have 800 yards, and you'll be happy with that if he has 8 to 10 touchdowns. So
for sure,
yeah. And that's where he's going to outscore potentially Shakir in fantasy, is because he has touchdown upside where Shakir is pretty much locked in at 5.
Yeah, in this kind of offense, he could be that they take the top off the defense and then just mondo big plays throughout the whole season. And if he consistently do that, he could be like a poor man's George Pickens or a poor man's Jameson Williams, that kind of guy that could easily go in there in 1 week, get you 35 points off of 3 or 4 catches because he has 2 huge touchdowns. So Keon Coleman, I would rather hook my boat to than Khalil Shakir this season, just based off ADPs. Shakir's going to be super safe, and you know what you're going to get. But we've mentioned this motto a couple times, like you play fantasy football to win. Shakir's not going to win you a week. If Keon Coleman takes that step forward, he's going to win weeks.
Yeah, like Shakir's going at the end of the 7th, beginning of the 8th. So pretty much where he's being drafted as a guy who's going to be in your starting lineup or as your first bench player, which is fine. But Coleman is almost free going at the 10th. Like, you're fine cutting your 10th round pick, almost the 11th round, but his ceiling is enormous. He's got good draft capital. He was the first pick of the 2nd round. Josh Allen can sling it, and it's just a matter. Josh Allen really, he spreads the ball around a lot, but if he can find a guy with touchdown upside, that guy is super valuable in this high-powered offense. Whereas last year, all the touchdowns were Josh Allen and James Cook. Maybe we do see Josh Allen push 35 touchdowns this year, and we see more from Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir in the receiving game. Because if that's the case, these guys are valuable because of Josh Allen.
Oh, 100%. And that's what it is. Like, obviously, you're not looking at all of these guys as, I'm going to start this guy confidently, being any of the other guys, like James Cook, you are obviously, but like Shakir, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, they're all being drafted as flex guys at best, bench spots. What do you think about Josh Palmer, though, this year? It's his first year in Buffalo.
Yeah,
he could be the big play guy if Keon Coleman doesn't work out.
Josh Palmer last season finished as wide receiver 75. He's currently going as wide receiver 69. He's being drafted some leagues you get in the 16 rounds. 16 is usually my preferred roster size. So he's going at the beginning of the 16th at 16-2. I have him as
literally free. He's free.
I have him as wide receiver 59, so I got him 10 spots more than his ADP. I love Josh Palmer. Last season with the Chargers, he had 39 catches on 65 targets, 584 yards. He just didn't score. He had 1 touchdown. 15 yards per catch, 9 yards per route, yards per target. He does have big play potential. Like, I actually think he gives the Bills more big play over the top ability than Keon Coleman. I think Coleman's better more in the middle, just kind of contested ball situation. Whereas Josh Palmer, I think, is a legitimate field stretcher. He gets separation. That was Keon Coleman's big thing in college. He couldn't separate. So
yeah, he's a 50-50 guy.
I do love taking the shot on Josh Palmer. Maybe that's just bias because I am a fan. I love Josh Palmer. And I could throw you the Kyle Pitts argument. Josh Palmer's only like 25, 26 years old.
This is insane.
And they signed him 3 years, $30 million. So he got a good amount of money. So I do like if my build's not working where I could take a shot on Coleman in the 10th, I do love throwing a dart at Josh Palmer as my last pick because I think he could end up being the number one receiver here. But his role probably leans more towards the Gabe Davis role where he just has spike weeks here and there, and he is not a reliable fantasy option. Great best ball option, but I do love the dart throw in the 16th round. Like you said, you want to get a piece of the Bills' offense. It's just a matter of finding a reliable one.
Yeah, for sure. He would be the third guy in my eyes, obviously, out of the receiver room over Shakir and Coleman. But again, in the last round, it's the 16th round. It doesn't matter. It's a dart throw on a guy that could finish with 800 yards and 8 touchdowns because of the way Buffalo plays. And he does have that ability. We've seen it in San Diego or LA, wherever they were. Mm-hmm. Josh Palmer has the ability to have 700, 800 yards and multiple big plays throughout the season.
Yeah.
And he has Josh Allen, dude.
Yep.
He's got arguably the best quarterback in football. So
yep. And he's your last round pick. You stash him on your bench week 1, he blows up. Cool. You have a guy you could either move on from, try to sell him hot, or it continues and you've landed into a value, or he has a dud week and you just cut him and pick up a high priority waiver ad. Like, there's nothing wrong with a free player.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Dalton Kincaid, last person here for the Bills. Last season, disappointment. Tight end 29.
It was bad. It was really bad last season.
He was highly drafted. We had him in our top 5. He was going in that range, like we were projecting it, and it didn't work out. This year, he's going as tight end 13. And mid-10th round, he's going at the 10-7. I currently have him as tight end 15 in my projection, so I'm right around ADP. 45 catches on 75 targets, 448 yards, only 2 touchdowns, 10 yards per reception, 6 yards per target. You don't like that. 6 yards per target is not ideal. Like those are Zach Ertz numbers for a young man who was drafted in the first round as this explosive potential playmaker, raw talent at tight end. But the upside's there. If you want to punt the position, I still understand taking a shot on Dalton Kincaid. I probably wouldn't do it just because guys going around him like David Njoku, I'd rather take my shot on him. But I get, if Dalton Kincaid hasn't burned you yet, I get throwing the dart. Because again, you want a piece of the Bills offense, and this was a guy who his rookie year was really good for fantasy football, minus the fact he didn't score touchdowns. And it's 2 each year, but I think there's a world where Dalton Kincaid can get 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I like his ADP. I have him at tight end 13. He's a guy that you're taking. If you're taking a tight end that late, you've already punted the position. So you're playing the waiver wire anyways, so he doesn't have to start every single week. And he's a guy I'm cool playing one-off matchups, and then 2, if it works out in Buffalo's offense, he could see a mondo amount of targets because of, again, the receivers aren't quote for quote panned out. There are a bunch of question marks all around him, and he's one of those question marks. So if he takes this step forward, again, it's just getting a piece of Buffalo, being Shakir in your flex, Keon Coleman taking the step forward, Kincaid, if he hasn't burnt you yet, you're willing to take the chance on him. It's very Kyle Pitts like. They're one and the same, to be honest, in my eyes. They both had a really good rookie season, and then it's just kind of disappointment.
Except Kyle Pitts has now done this 3 or 4 years. Whereas Kincaid, it's just been 1.
I don't want to hear about how long it's been. Yeah, Kyle Pitts is still 25.
Yeah, Kincaid was hurt last year. You're right, and that
he had a knee injury
that he needed to get stronger as well, and he's put on muscle this year. So, yeah, I'm cool with taking a shot on Kincaid, but he's not someone I want to lock myself to at tight end. If I'm picking him, I'm going to try to find a guy like Mike Gesicki, or I like Juwan Johnson this year late. One of those guys to kind of pair off him to give me someone, in Johnson's case, targets. In Gesicki's case, high-powered offense with upside.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't lock him as my number 1 tight end. I don't have him in as a top 12 tight end. But again, if you're taking him as your starter in the 10th, 11th, 12th round in some leagues, you've punted the position. You're willing to cut him if he doesn't work out. So,
yeah. All right. Buffalo, clear-cut best team in this division, though. No matter how we feel about their options, they still have the best quarterback and a good coach, good defense. Buffalo, they constantly, like, if I had to bet my life on a team to win their division this year, it would be the Buffalo Bills over any other team in the National Football League.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bet, dog.
Yep.
I mean, they've won a division, 5 straight years, playoffs, 6 straight years, something like that. So
yeah. All right, Miami. All right, Miami Dolphins last season somehow finished 8-9.
8-9, baby.
Their win total this year is set at 8.5. So
right where it should be.
Right around there. Mike McDaniel, obviously on the hot seat. They got to do something this year. Like, I know you can use the Tua being injured as like a case to save his job, but when Tua gets hurt, this guy doesn't make adjustments. Like,
yeah,
he tries to run the same offense with quarterbacks that don't play like Tua. So like it just doesn't make sense. So we'll see how that pans out for them. Tua last season finished as QB 21, and that was in 11 games. He's currently going as the QB 25, going at the end of drafts, 15th round, 9th pick. I currently have him as QB 18, so I'm well above the 25 ADP, quarterback 25 currently.
I have been QB 16, so
okay, yeah. So last season, 2,867 yards, 72.9 completion percentage, which is incredible. 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, so almost a 5% touchdown rate and a 2% interception rate. No work on the ground, 49 yards. His 17
thank God. Don't run at all. Please do not run.
His 17 game pace last year was 4,400 yards, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That's a QB1. If he's healthy, Tua has QB1 upside. He becomes a really good streaming option.
That's what Tua is. He's always been a really good streaming option because he goes through these like
Spike
4
weeks.
or 5 week chunks where he's QB1, 2, 1 again. Like he has mondo big spike weeks in chunk weeks, and it's amazing to watch. So again, I'm statting guys out to play full season. So Tua might miss a game or two here or there, obviously, but if you're doing 17 game paces, Tua's really close to a quarterback 1 every single year, dude.
Yeah. Like, if you want to take the upside shot on a guy like Drake May or Caleb Williams, yeah. I think Tua is a good kind of fallback if you want to take a second quarterback because when the Dolphins play bad teams, the Dolphins play good football. And Tua is a fantasy option. And this offense, like, you give Tua as much slack as you want that he's not an elite quarterback, whatever. But this offense runs through him. When he's not there, this offense is abysmal. And you don't really want a piece of it, sans the running backs.
Yeah, for sure. And, well, even the running backs, like, their stat lines tremendously change when Tua's in this offense. Everyone just gets better when Tua's on the field. I get he's not an elite quarterback, and he's an elite system quarterback, though. And for this system, he fits perfectly.
Mike McDaniel has built this system for Tua, and it shows considering no other quarterback works in Miami. But yeah, I like Tua as a stream option. Like I said, we're both well above his ADP, where he's always said 25. I have an 18. You have 16, and that's even better. He finished his QB 21 last year, so we think if he's healthy, Tua is a really good situational starter in fantasy football.
Yeah, and we'll get to the receivers, obviously, but I just think that they both just have kind of bounce back years. What I seen from Tyreek last season, it didn't seem like he really took a step back. He still looked like Tyreek. He was still open a large percent of the time. They just couldn't get him the ball. And I truly believe in Jalen Waddle. He was an amazing receiver coming out of Alabama. I think the talent is there to have an amazing bounce back season. And again, it runs through Tua. And I think their offense isn't going to change. I think it's going to go back to what it was. And with that offense, Tua pushes QB1.
Yeah. Well, let's just go to receivers. We'll do the running backs last for Miami. Tyreek Hill last season finished as wide receiver 18. He's currently going as the wide receiver 13. Early third round pick. He's going at the 3-4. I have him at wide receiver 20, so pretty well after his ADP, but last season, 81 catches on 123 targets, 959 yards, 6 touchdowns, almost 12 yards a catch, 7.8 yards per target. They were targeting more underneath and not stretching the field with him because, Tua wasn't there, so they didn't have a quarterback who could stretch the field in his case.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that's kind of the role they end up having in play. Like, I actually have Jalen Waddle projected more yards than Tyreek Hill on the season, but I have Hill with more touchdowns, and they're pretty equal on catches where it boosts Tyreek. Like, I have Jalen Waddle at 29, Tyreek at 20. So I do have them close, so I do play the ADP game with them. I can get Jalen Waddle 3-4 rounds after Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So it's
Waddle's
a cost
going pretty
thing
late.
For Tyreek, for me at least, that keeps me off of him.
Where'd you have Waddle?
I have Waddle at 29.
Okay. I have Waddle at 27, but I have Tyreek at 8. I have Waddle at 27, Tyreek at 17. So a 10-spot difference between the two.
Yeah, but we're both
I just think
under
they're both...
ADP for Tyreek, though. He's going at 13.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. But I would assume we're both over ADP on Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle last season finished as wide receiver 46, huge letdown. He's currently going as wide receiver 32. So I'm a little bit above that. You're above it as well. He's going at the 6-6, so middle of the 6th round, early 7th round. Last season, 58 catches on 83 targets, 744 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 yards per target, 12.8, almost 13 yards per catch. I think Waddle, they're going to roll. I think Waddle's going to be the field stretcher for this team now, and Tyreek's going to do the underneath stuff. That's kind of how I had it projected. I have Waddle, more big plays. Like I said, I have more yards, but less touchdowns, less catches. That's what kind of pushed Tyreek the 9 spots over Jalen Waddle. But I like Waddle where he's going, 6th round. I think that's great value. As either your first flex guy or even a wide receiver 2, I'm cool with that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've found myself getting Waddle in a lot of mocks that we've run. Not on the pod, just outside of the pod, but I've never really found myself with Tyreek. I don't know if that's because where I'm drafting in the draft, he just doesn't fall to me or whatnot. It's just a weird thing, but I get he's going wide receiver 13. That is a little bit high, but I'm still comfortable taking him. He could easily go back to what he was and be a top 10 receiver. 2 years ago, he was wide receiver 1, correct? It was just not last season, but the year before.
Yeah.
So it's just, if you believe in Tyreek Hill, where do you take him? And he's obviously older, but I didn't think he lost that much of a step last season, to be honest. And with a healthy Tua, I just think the Dolphins are going to be kind of rolling a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like my thing with Tyreek Hill, he's going at the 3-4, whereas Garrett Wilson's going at the 3-8. I don't think there would be a world where I would take Tyreek over Garrett Wilson. And T. Higgins is also going. He's the one that separates them after Tyreek Hill. I would take T. Higgins over him as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, man, that's rough. Tyreek, he's good.
Yeah. I understand also taking him because his upside, his ceiling is he goes back to being
what he
top
was.
3-4 wide receiver in fantasy. And that's going to win you a league. You're taking him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm not going to bat an eye at someone picking him in the 3rd. He was a 1st-round pick 2 years ago. And again, I'm just going to keep saying I don't think he took that big of a step back, but I don't know. I just think everyone else is just really safe this year. There's so many good receivers in football, dude.
And he's 30 years old now. And he's brought up before that he wants to retire early, and then he's kind of pulled back on that. So like if he loses a step, he becomes just a fine fantasy wide receiver who doesn't give you that huge big play upside that he used to do, but he can become a PPR value where he catches 80, 90 balls and he gives you upside there. Do you
I don't think he
he
falls out of wide receiver 2 range, though. I don't think he's going to fall.
I agree.
So I think he has a huge window this year for sure. Like, his ceiling could easily be wide receiver 4 or 5, and then he could be wide receiver 20, 22.
Yeah, you could take the all risky team and go like
McCaffrey
and Derrick Henry with your first 2 picks, and then Tyreek in the 3rd.
Nah, fucking Derrick Henry's safe as hell, dude. He's never been risky.
Oh, well, yeah, I know, but there is the age cliff. We don't see him as that, but like,
no, but I'm sure there's way more riskier 2nd-round picks if I could really think of people.
I was just picking an old running back. He's the only one going in that range. You could go Brian Thomas Jr. There's risk with him in Malik Neighbors.
Question marks. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Do you think there's another receiver that steps up in this game? I know Miami, we love what they do for fantasy, is like we know where the targets are. And Darren Waller is the tight end. Jonnu Smith was really valuable last year.
Waller vacates a lot of targets. And I don't think they're all going to go to Waller, obviously, but I think we got to give Waller a little bit of a look just being in this high-powered offense, and he really actually wants to be there, so it's not going to be a lazy thing. And he has Frank Smith, his offense coordinator from Vegas, with him, and he loves him. Everything is like put together for him to succeed. So I think he's going to be a streamable tight end this season.
Yeah. Obviously, last season didn't rank, didn't play, so no stats.
Did not play.
His current ADP is tight end 34, which is undrafted. I am at 27, so I'm not overly high on him, but I agree there's some streamability there. But if I'm going to project a third pass catcher that's not like Devon Achane, I would probably lean more towards Malik Washington than Darren Waller, just because I think Washington has this uncanny ability to stretch the field despite being 5'8", and he could just do a lot with the ball in his hands, whereas like Waller didn't look great with the Giants, so he's now a year removed from football. So I think he's more just a stream guy, but if I'm going to take a shot on a third pass catcher in Miami, I would throw a last round pick at Malik Washington.
Yeah, no, I get that. Two different positions. I don't think Washington's going to have any type of value as a receiver to where Waller could be streamed as a tight end, I think. I think Waller is going to have like a sneaky 65 catches or 6,500
yards.
650 yards, maybe 700 yards, and a handful of touchdowns just because he's in a system that's going to know how to use him compared to the Giants. Yeah. We don't know how to use fast, athletic tight ends. We were having him in there to like block and shit, and he just got miserable and he hated it. He's not going to ask to be blocked in Miami. He's not going to be setting down pads, laying out linebackers. It's not going to happen. He's going to be out there running around, and that's what he loves to do.
Where do you have Waller in your rankings?
I'm at 24.
Okay, so a little bit higher than me. All right, the two running backs. Let's talk about that. Devon Achane, last season he finished as RB5. He's going as RB7 at the 2-4. 907 yards on 203 carries, 6 touchdowns, 4.5 yards a carry, 78 catches on 87 targets for an additional 592 yards and another 6 touchdowns. So that's 7.6 yards per catch, 6.8 yards per target. I have him as RB2. I am bullish on Devon Achane, and that's just because I do think he's the guy who benefits from the targets being vacated from Jonnu Smith. I know I said I would take the shot on Malik Washington, but like realistically, I think a lot of it goes to Achane. I think we're looking at another year where he's going to get 80 plus targets. So he gives you a ton of PPR upside, whereas like, sure, he's not going to get 1,000 yards probably, and we'll probably find a middle ground. Like his rookie year, he averaged almost 8 yards a carry. This past season, 4.5. I think you limit his carries a little bit. You're pushing back into the 5.5 range per carry. So he could have 180 carries for 900 some yards, and then an additional 500-600 on the ground, double-digit touchdown upside total. Whereas like I'm in on Achane because of the PPR upside. That's how he ended up as my RB2. And I just think he is the ultimate benefactor of this. I took him in our mock, and I just think he is the safest and best option in this offense.
I would agree that he is for sure the safest and best option for sure. I'm at RB8, one spot behind his ADP. I got Chase Brown above him. I love Chase Brown this year. Genty. But I get why people are taking him. He could easily have 100 catches this year. Just because of the offense, he would only need 23 more? He had 80. What do you have? That's 13 more. He had 87 catches?
78 catches on 87 targets.
So he said 87. So I got him mixed up. So yeah, 78, 22 catches. He could easily swing that. When Tua's his starting quarterback, he was getting 7 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets a game, which is insane for a running back. That's like receiving numbers and then you just throw in the rushing numbers or with just a bonus for him, because he's really a PPR guy. Like, he's Alvin Kamara. You don't need 1,000 yards to be RB1. Alvin Kamara has never had 1,000 yards in his career. So
even
A-Chain can easily be that.
There's years where McCaffrey was under 1,000 yards, but he PPR'd his way into being RB1 because he gives you...
Early McCaffrey, was just a big PPR guy. I mean, Rachaad White's been doing it in 2 years in a row down there in Tampa.
Yeah.
He just racks a ton of catches, and he's just a PPR monster. And if you're getting a running back with 80 catches, that's a receiver-type number. So then all of his rushing numbers become bonuses, which is just an insane thing to think about for a running back. So Achane definitely could easily be RB1 this season. I get why people are taking him high.
Yeah, and Jalen Wright last season was not good. Running back 94.
That guy's a bum.
Yeah, running back 94. He's currently going as the RB 55, end of the 15th round, 15.8. I'm under projected there. I'm at RB 60. Last season, like I said, 68 carries for 249 yards. Didn't score a touchdown through the air or on the ground. He only had 3 catches for 8 yards on 6 targets. But Mostert's not there anymore. Achane is prone to be banged up. And the Miami running back has always produced no matter who it is. So I understand giving Jalen Wright a look at the end of drafts just on the fact that Achane's health is a risk.
I would agree to that, but I honestly think Alexander Mattison is the backup on this team. I don't think it's Jalen Wright. That guy just looked like a bad running back last year. And the coaching staff has come out and constantly hyped up Alexander Mattison all offseason. So he looked decent last year in Vegas. I think he's more of a consistent running back for Miami. I think he's going to be involved.
I think he'll have a role, but I think if Achane would get hurt, Jalen Wright is starting. Because I don't think Alexander gives you upside. Yeah. I loved Wright coming out of Tennessee.
Jalen Wright literally looked like a blind man playing running back last year.
But hey, so did Tank Bigsby his rookie year, and Tank Bigsby looked so much better this year compared to his rookie year.
Yeah, and Tank Bigsby was still running back 40 last season, so I'm not overly concerned about that.
I'm only buying Wright on injury upside. He's not somebody I'm keeping the stash too long.
But I wouldn't even draft Wright. I don't think Wright's a good football player. I wasn't high on him coming out, and last year kind of showed.
I've lived through Alexander Mattison. I would trust. I'm going to take the upside guy over the floor guy in this case.
No, I get doing that. I'm not saying I'm drafting any of them. I just think Alexander Madison's going to be the backup running back for this team, though. I think he's going to have way more touchdowns than Jalen Wright does this season.
So I think if Achane is healthy, yes, I would agree. I think Madison has a bigger role. But if Achane gets hurt, I think Madison's role stays the same and Wright takes over as the starter. Just because of play style.
I think it would be like a 60-40 split in Madison's favor just because he's a smarter football player. I don't think Wright could lead a running back room. I don't think that's possible.
All right. Ready to move on? I don't think there's anything else in Miami to talk about.
That's...
Nick Westbrook-Akine is there, too. He scores a ton of touchdowns.
Yeah,
I know
cool.
I said Malik Washington, but if you had to take a third receiver to potentially break out in this offense, would you go Washington or would you go the touchdown machine, Nick Westbrook-Akine?
I would probably chase the shot with Washington, with catches.
Okay.
I think Washington's catches are safer this year than Westbrook-Akine's touchdowns.
Now, if Tyreek or Waddle would get hurt, Waddle is prone to injuries. Would you then lean Westbrook-Akine just because of veteran and we've seen him produce? Okay. I would agree as well. All right, the New York Jets. Last season, they finished 5-12. New head coach, Aaron Glenn, coming over from the Lions. Their over-under for wins is set this year at 5.5. New quarterback. No Aaron Rodgers, is now Justin Fields. Last season, Fields finished as QB 31. That's a little deceptive because he only started 6 games. In the games he started, he was a top 10 fantasy quarterback. He's currently going as the QB 17, middle of the 11th round. I have him at QB 17. I'm locked with ADP. I honestly think you're buying Justin Fields in his spot at his floor. I don't think he gets too much lower than that, and I think his ceiling is a top 10 quarterback just because of rushing upside.
I have him over Tua. I have him at QB 14.
Okay. So
I think Fields is
Fields.
I think he's gonna because he's going to be the starter most likely all the season. Like I don't think Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, most of the season. I don't think Tyrod Taylor is going to take snaps, but he could. Like if the Jets are really bad and Fields is fumbling the ball, getting sacked, turning over the ball, they're going to make the switch. If he's the
reason they're losing, yes.
Yeah. They're going to make the switch for sure.
Yeah. So in those starts, Fields had 1,100 yards on a 65.8 completion percentage, which was a career high, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. So a great balance. Like he wasn't turning the ball over. 5 touchdowns in 6 games, not ideal though. But he had 289 yards on the ground and an additional 5 touchdowns. His 17-game pace was 3,134 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but 818 yards on the ground and an additional 14 touchdowns. Obviously, he probably wasn't scoring 14 touchdowns if he played all year, and he probably would have had more through the air. It probably would have been 17 to 10. So still in the same range of 28 touchdowns. It just would have been spread out a little differently. But Justin Fields, we've always made the excuse like, oh, no team's ever committed to him, and like I just got to give him a chance. Like I'm guilty of that. I like Justin Fields coming out of Ohio State. I still like Justin Fields as a just stopgap quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise guy, but I think he could be a starter and bounce around the league for a handful of years. But he's getting the shot here in New York. They didn't draft a quarterback. They didn't bring another quarterback in. So this is his team. So we'll see what happens here. And if the Jets are bad, they're going to draft a quarterback next year. And we will be moving on from Justin Fields. But for fantasy, Justin Fields is great. With the rushing upside, he has, like I said, top 10 upside as a finisher. And where he's going, he's pretty much free as a quarterback at QB 17. And like I said, I think that is his floor as a fantasy option.
I don't think he could finish that low, to be honest. If he's starting every single game, he just makes these crazy athletic, big, huge plays. And I get he's going to make terrible plays because that's what he does.
But he did last year.
Well, that's because last year he had an amazing coach and talent around him. This year he's got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, which worries the hell out of me, dude. That's all he has around him. It honestly feels like the Chicago situation all again. It's where he had DJ Moore and he had a running back, quote for quote. He had Swift, I believe.
I mean, I wouldn't say the options in Pittsburgh were much better.
No, but he had an actual coaching system and a team that was smart and a really good offensive line.
Well, the Jets have a good line. The Jets have a good line.
He did not have to do what he did in Chicago and Pittsburgh. He's going to have to do that in New York. He's going to have to carry the team. I don't think he can do that. He's not a quarterback that can carry a team.
See, I don't know. We don't know how good the question is like, how good is Aaron Glenn as a coach? If Aaron Glenn is a Mike Tomlin level coach or close to it, smart, savvy, and the guy they brought over from Detroit with them, who was the quarterback coach there. So if he's got that Ben Johnson wizard ability, like I think the talent level on offense is as good, if not better, than it was in Pittsburgh for Fields. Like Garrett Wilson better than George Pickens. Breece Hall better than upside-wise Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. So, and I think the Jets' offensive line
upside-wise, yes, but Najee and Warren are smarter football players than Breece Hall.
Yeah, but Breece Hall kind of does what both of them do. He's kind of like a combo of the two. He gets
Breece Hall's fantasy production's been driven through PPR catches. But that's not going to happen with Justin Fields. Justin Fields isn't going to dink the ball down.
I agree, but I think there is 1,000-yard upside for Breece Hall as a runner. He's a good running back.
He could push 1,000 yards, yeah.
But I think the Jets' offensive line is really good. Like that they've spent high capital on them. They got Elijah Vera Tucker was a first-round pick. Fashanu, first-round pick. Membu, first-round pick. Joe Tippmann was a second-round pick. He's a really good center. And then they brought over a guy from Baltimore to play the other guard spot. So I think the Jets have a really good line, and they have a really good defense. So, like, the Jets could just be this ugly team that wins games like Pittsburgh, just dirty football where they're not really relevant for fantasy, though.
That's the path for the Jets to be good, is their defense being good and them running the hell out of the ball. And if they're running the hell out of the ball, that also hurts Breece Hall, because then it has to be a committee. Breece Hall is not going to be able to carry the load by himself.
They have brought out that they do want to have a committee, and Braylon Allen is built to just, like... For sure. He could be the David
They also have
Montgomery
Justin Fields, who could run the ball.
Yeah.
They have options to really take it off of Breece Hall, where he's kind of like James Cook in a legitimate committee. It's not just Breece Hall anymore.
Yeah, like, you want to try to compare apples to apples and be like, okay, the guy's coming over from Detroit, so who's the Montgomery, who's the Gibbs? They don't really have a Gibbs. Like, Breece Hall, that's not his shtick. But, like, Justin Fields could be Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of his running ability. And then Breece Hall kind of falls into this David Montgomery role where he gets some touchdowns, but he doesn't have touchdown upside like David Montgomery. He's not going to score 15 touchdowns.
I mean, Breece Hall, I think, had like 80 catches last year.
He had 57 catches on 76 targets. So we'll just go right into the running backs. Breece Hall is going as RB13. He finished as RB16 last year. He's going at the end of the third. I have him as RB18, so I am below his current ADP. He had 876 yards and 209 carries. It's 4.2 a clip, not the best. 5 touchdowns, 57 catches for 483 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, like you said, running quarterbacks don't necessarily target running backs in the passing game. It's not usually something that happens. But Fields did play a little bit differently in Pittsburgh than he has in Chicago. So I do think there's a chance we do see Breece Hall get the target share, but I don't want to creep. I don't think he gets 76 targets. I would lean more towards 60 as his ceiling in the passing game.
It's not going to be anywhere close to the
45 catches, give or take.
Yeah, he had 76 targets last year, 95 the year before that. It's not going to be anywhere close to those numbers.
Yeah, so you need him to be more efficient on the ground, and the question is, can he be? We don't know. We've seen him look efficient.
He's always been over 4 carry.
Yeah,
but he's never hit 1,000 yards in his career. So I'm just I'm just concerned. Breece Hall is going just a little bit too early for me in fantasy this year, and I love Breece Hall. I really do.
Yeah.
But if he had a different quarterback, I think I would be much more willing to take him higher.
Yeah. Like, depending on my build, but like, he's not somebody I want to be my RB1. Like,
he's going around
Breece Hall as my RB2. Like, if I would take Achane in round 1 or round 2, I'd be comfortable taking Breece Hall at the end of the third if that's where I'm drafting. But I'd probably be drafting at the beginning of the third, and that would be the end of the third. Yeah, I'd be comfortable with Breece Hall if I took an Achane or a McCaffrey or a Derrick Henry or a Janty with my round 1 or 2 pick. Then I'm comfortable with Breece Hall at the end of the third. But it's not something I would seek out.
He's going around guys like Chase Brown and James Cook, and I would take those guys in a heartbeat over Breece Hall this year.
I don't think Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown's going to start to creep up boards as he should. Like, I think he should. Like, I have him as RB5, but we'll see how that pans out. Like, I don't know. We'll have to see how camp and stuff go.
Don't we think that would have happened? Because they haven't replaced him or brought anyone in, and we've seen what he did last year, and he's still being taken right here. Yeah, I think if Chase Brown would have rose, I think it would have rose by now.
Maybe the receivers are pushing him down. People are just buying into the passing game and just kind of neglecting Chase Brown there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't have the quote-for-quote draft stock. It's the pass game in Cincinnati that people want. But I think Chase Brown's hella underrated in fantasy this year. I wouldn't take him anywhere near Breece Hall. I think those guys are leagues and parts.
I like looking at it. Like, I figured Chase Brown is gone by the 311. So
I mean, he's going ADP wise 31 or 30, and then Breece Hall is going 34. So there's only 4 picks between the two. So,
but if there is a world where I'm comfortable with Breece Hall at the 311, depending on how the board falls, and he would have to be my RB2. I'm not taking him as my RB1.
Yeah, no, I would not be comfortable with Breece Hall as my RB1.
Braylon Allen, his running mate. He finished last season as RB51. This year he's going as RB56, end of the 15th round. He's going at the 15-10. I have him currently in my projections RB61. 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3.6 yards per carry. He's not going to catch much. 19 catches for 148 yards and a touchdown. I know they say they want to run a committee, but like to me, the committee is Justin Fields and Breece Hall. And then Braylon Allen might sneak in some touchdowns here and there, but he's not going to play a role in the passing game. So, like, to me, he's just an insurance back, but he's not even one of those insurance backs I'd be willing to draft at the end of the draft.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't draft him. I have him at RB53, though, so I have him a little bit higher than you do. I just think he eats more into the actual committee of them running him and Breece. Who the hell did we just talk about? How am I blanking on Breece Hall's name? Breece. There we go. How am I blanking on Breece Hall's name? I love how that statement just came out of my mouth. Yeah, I just think he's going to be involved. He was last year a little bit, and I think it's going to be a little bit more now with the Detroit staff coming over, them running 2 backs, and Justin Fields. So it's going to be a 3 kind of back committee, because quote for quote, Fields is going to have 700, 800 yards rushing, so he's going to be right there with those guys. I think Braylon Allen's going to have like 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's not going to be fantasy relevant, but he's going to eat into Breece Hall's rushing stats for sure.
Yeah, I look, like I said, I look at more of the committee as Justin Fields and Breece Hall, and Allen will spell here and there. I just don't think, if anything, he's touchdown upside maybe. But like I said, I think Justin Fields is the running back 1 or 2 on this team, and then Breece Hall is the running mate with Justin Fields.
I agree, but I think they're going to have an actual another running back out there because of the way that they're going to win football games. It's going to be taking time off the clock. Breece Hall is not going to be able to run 3, 4, 5 plays in a row. And I get you could run with Fields, but you can't run with Fields every play. And so I think who are we talking about now?
Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen. These guys have 2 similar first names. Braylon Allen is going to be out there a decent amount of time.
Okay. Then Isaiah Davis, the other running back, but I don't think there's any.
I do not need to talk about that guy.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson. He's pretty much the only receiver worth talking about here. Last season, he finished as wide receiver 10. He's currently going as wide receiver 15 at the 3.8. I currently have him as wide receiver 11 in my projections. 101 catches on 154 targets, 1,104 yards, 7 touchdowns. Almost 11 yards a catch, 7.2 yards per target. Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 15 is a travesty. He's better than that, and we've seen Justin Fields carry DJ Moore to a wide receiver 1 season, and Garrett Wilson, I love DJ Moore. Garrett Wilson is a better talent than DJ Moore at the wide receiver position, and we've seen just this guy get hyper targeted, most targets all time through 3 years of a career. So, like, I love where he's going. I think that's an incredible value. Like, he's going around Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill. I'm taking him over those guys, without a question.
Yeah, last year he had a career finish in fantasy wide receiver 10, 11, whatever he finished. 101 catches, 154 targets. It's the Justin Fields effect. That's why people are taking him low. I get why they are, and I get you could make the argument for DJ Moore. But I think at the end of the day, if Garrett Wilson had an actual quarterback, I think he could push 200 targets this year. I think Fields is honestly keeping him from his ceiling. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have a really good year. I also have him at wide receiver 11, but I think if he had a real quarterback, I think he could be top 5 easily this year.
See,
just because there's no other guy in the room.
I don't know if that's the scheme Aaron, Glenn, and crew are going to want to run, even if they had a quarterback that wasn't Justin Fields, where they're going to throw enough to get Garrett Wilson 200 targets. I think Mason Taylor has a role in this offense.
He's going to have to. He needs to.
He to me is the second pass catcher. Whereas, maybe it is Breece Hall though, because there's no other receiver. Like the other receivers in the
but that's Lazard, not Fields' game. Fields not going to dink it down to Breece Hall. That's not going to happen. He's just going to run.
Allen Lazard, your guy Malachi Corley, Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds is there.
None of these guys are draftable. Do not draft any of them. If one of them hits week 1, I wouldn't even say fab dump for him. It's not even worth it in my eyes, to be honest.
No. Yeah.
I don't think Justin Fields could withstand two good, relevant fantasy receivers. And at the end of the day, it's just going to be Garrett Wilson out of this receiving room.
Yeah. And then, like I said, if I had to pick another pass, it would be
Mason Taylor. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Garrett Wilson's honestly the only receiver we have to talk about here. I think he's a lock for near 100 catches. DJ Moore did it with Justin Fields. Garrett Wilson did it last year with Aaron Rodgers, and that was with Devontae Adams there as well. He's going to push probably 1,100 yards, maybe 1,200 if he's lucky with Fields. It's just the touchdowns. If he's able to pull, he had 7 last year. If he's able to do the 7 again, maybe 8 because there's no other guy in the receiving room, you're looking at a wide receiver 1 for Garrett Wilson easily, for sure.
Yep. And Mason Taylor, last season, obviously didn't play. He rookie out of LSU. He's currently going as the tight end 24, end of the draft, 15th round, 7th pick. I have him as tight end 22, so a little higher than his current ADP. Second round pick, again, like it's really just, will he get viable targets here? I think he's going to be more spot start kind of play, but he is a name to keep an eye on at the end of your drafts. Throw a dart at him just because there's not a second pass catcher on this team.
Yeah. Yeah, I have him at wide receiver. I have him at tight end 26, but I have guys like Juwan Johnson, Hunter Henry, Chika Conko, Zach Ertz. I would take him over those guys because, like you said, there's no other guy in the option. He's a second-round pick. I think Mason Taylor could be the number 2 option come later in the season. And I hope that does pan out because they need guys to step up. If they want to win football games, Breece Hall is going to have to go back to what he was doing. Fields is going to have to really lock in and carry this offense like a real quarterback. Garrett Wilson, I'm not worried about, but they need another guy to come up into this passing game. And Mason Taylor is most likely the likely option.
Yeah. It would.
I don't think it's going to be any of those receivers, dog.
No. Yeah. Like they might just split time and like why is this team not signing Keenan Allen?
And just sign anybody, Cooper's better than these guys. Like if I had to take a shot on any other receiver, it would be Reynolds.
I'll be biased and say Tyler Johnson, but I think we could clearly cut out Alan Lazard and Malachi Corley. I think they're the 2 odd men.
Yeah, I agree.
I think at 3 receiver sets, it would be Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, and Tyler Johnson, which is gross.
Yeah, for sure, considering those guys are wide receiver 4s and 5s on most teams, and they're going to be out there on the field for the Jets.
Yeah. You know, it's not gross. Our friends over at W Energy and Finley Hats. W Energy, they just dropped a new flavor. You saw me try it over on the last episode, the Japanese yuzu, their best citrus fruit. It's delicious. It's got a little lemonade kind of vibe to it. Little citrus kick. It's really good. So I definitely recommend check out their new flavor. They weren't lying when they said it was their best flavor that they created. It's the favorite of mine that I've tried of all their stuff. So check them out. W Energy, clean, efficient energy. It's jitterless. There's no crash, no artificial flavors, no dyes, all that good stuff. So use the code Drafted Up. Get 10% off your purchase, no matter where, no matter when. It could be your 100th purchase, and you could still get that code for a nice 10% off. That's Drafted Up is the code. W Energy, W.GG is the website, or you can download their app. Just search W in your Apple App Store, your Google Play Store. It'll be there. So be better with W Energy. Eat that dub. And then, of course, Finley Hats. Their hats built for good times. They're really unique. Lifetime warranty. So if your hat is damaged or destroyed, they will repair it or replace it completely free. They got free shipping across the U.S. Like I said, hats built for good times. They got these customizable laces. You can put any in there. This one's got some green and black stripe. I got my own little custom pin there. It's a little Ghostbusters type thing. They got pockets on the inside. You could secure your hat if you're at the beach and it's windy, or you're out on the sailboat, or you're water skiing, or you're running routes. Like, you could snug that hat on with the Stampede laces. So check out our friends over at Finley Hats. In the description, there will be a link. You can click that, and for your first purchase, you get a cool 15% off. So join the Finley force over at Finley Hats.
You'll love to hear it, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't stumble over Japan this time.
I'm
Like I
so
did
proud of you, buddy.
on the episode earlier in the week. All right, last
On
team in the
Tuesday.
division. The New England Patriots.
New
Last
England.
season, the Pats finished 4-13, and their over/under is set for wins at 7.5. The Mike Vrabel effect in play. The second-year quarterback, easier schedule. So we'll see about that. Drake May last season finished as QB 22 in his rookie year. He's currently going as a QB 18 at the end of the 11th round, the 11.8. I have him at QB 16 in my projection, so a little bit higher than ADP. 2,276 yards, a 66.6 completion percentage, 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So a little turnover happy there. 3% of his passes were picked, almost 4.5 were touchdowns. 421 yards. Yeah, he's young.
He had to do yards on the ground,
2 touchdowns. Additionally, through the air, his 17-game pace would have been almost 3,500 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 picks, almost 600 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns. So Drake May brings you this running upside. It's just a matter of, is that the style of offense Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, who's now back in New England for what feels like the 600th time, is going to bring to the table, or are they going to try to let Drake air it out a little more? That's the question, but we'll see. The upside there for Drake May. I love where he's going. QB 18, end of the 11th round. I have him higher than that at 16, like I said. So I'm cool taking the shot on Drake May, but he is one of those quarterbacks I'm going to pair with a guy like Dak Prescott or even CJ Stroud or Trevor Lawrence, one of those guys later. Jordan Love, yeah, to give me a fallback in case New England's offense is just doing the bare minimum. They're winning with defense.
Yeah, dude, I like Drake May a lot. He showed a lot last year. His potential's there, and I think he showed that he's going to take that evolution and step up and be a really good quarterback in the NFL. I'm not particularly in love with his wide receiver options this year, and I don't really care for Hunter Henry besides streaming weeks, and his rushing game isn't really that good, and the offensive line was absolutely horrendous last season, so hopefully it can take some type of improvement. But it looks
they drafted Will Campbell.
But it's still looking pretty rough. They brought over Garrett
Bradbury. They drafted Jarrett Wilson. We'll see if he gets any playing time this year.
I think he's going to sit this year.
I agree. I think he'll sit behind Bradbury.
Bradbury this year. Yeah.
I
don't particularly like their offensive line, so I'm worried about that.
They brought over Morgan Moses as well. He's a fine right tackle, and it allows their best lineman, Owenu, to slide back inside where he's much better. So they're still starting Cole Strange, though. Don't like that next to Will Campbell, who we have questions whether he could be a legitimate left tackle. I'm glad they're giving him the shot. So
at his draft position, you have to give him his shot at left tackle. You have to let him try. I don't particularly love what they have around Drake May, but I do love the coaching staff and what they're putting together. It's very Commanders of last season. They brought in an amazing coaching staff, a really good system, an organization that knows how to win games. And I love their quarterback. I loved Jaden Daniels last year for the Commanders. I love Drake May. I think New England does take a step. I do think they reach their win goal, and I think they get over 7.5 wins this year.
Yeah, I agree. I have them in the 8 to 9 range for win total. And
I have them at 8 and 9.
Yeah, Drake May could prove to be a league winner. He could take that step where, and he's got rushing upside. Like I said, his 17-game pace last year was almost 600 yards on the ground. You'll love that from the quarterback position. Speaking of on the ground, they got 2 running backs who are being drafted. The quote-unquote starter is Ramondre Stevenson. Last season, he finished as the RB 28. He's currently going as the RB 37, beginning of the 10th round, 10-2. I have him as RB 41, so I'm lower than his ADP. I'm in on Travion Henderson. Last season, he had 800 yards on 207 carries, 7 touchdowns, under 4 yards a carry. He had 33 catches on 41 targets. I don't think that's going to be there this year for him for 168 yards and an additional touchdown. I don't see passing game work with Travion Henderson being there for Ramondre. So then you're just really dependent on touchdown upside, and he doesn't give you a ton of breakaway speed. He doesn't have big playability. I just think he ends up being phased out. I'm buying into the talent of Travion Henderson, but I do understand. Like, I'm cool taking the shot with Ramondre at where he's going in the 10th round, because right now he is the starting running back there, and he was productive 2 years ago.
And I know it's not the same organization that's there now, but he just got paid last season, and it was a pretty big deal, to be honest. So he's getting paid for the next 2 seasons at least, so I think he's going to be involved. I have him at RB34, so I think Henderson's catches are obviously going to be more valuable than Ramondre's carries, and I do have Henderson higher. I have him at 25, so that's a 10 spot difference. But Ramondre is still the starter, so it's just all about how efficient he is. And if he's somewhat efficient and he gets a couple of touchdowns in the red zone, he could be a flex spot start kind of guy. So he's going at a spot where he should be taken, and people are like, he's rosterable for sure, and he's definitely like gross, but he's going to be productive for the most part, just because
you are not gonna like taking Ramondre Stevenson. You're
no, not at all.
Disgusting, but
at the end of the day, the guys drafted around him, he's going to probably have more points than.
Yeah, the biggest thing is the fumbles. He had 7 fumbles last year. Like,
that can be turned around now. I've seen guys turn around fumbles.
But if he's fumbling week 1, week 2, Mike Vrabel's not going to keep him in the lineup. He does have familiarity with Josh McDaniels. His rookie year, McDaniels was the coordinator there, and Ramondre had a reasonable rookie season, 606 yards on 133 carries for New England there, 5 touchdowns as a rookie. Didn't do much through the passing game, and then McDaniels left, and Ramondre had his best season the following year. But I just think we're sort of capped with Ramondre into that 600 to 800 yard range. I think 800 is his max. So then you're really touchdown dependent and catch dependent, and I don't think the targets will be there. Like, he had 41 targets last year, 51 the year before that, 88 the year before that. I think I think he's under 41, which is what he had last year. I think we're looking at maybe 25, 30 targets max from Ramondre. So it really limits his fantasy upside for me, whereas, like you said, PPR-wise, Travion Henderson gives you pass catching ability as the backfield option there. Plus, I just think he has more juice. I think he's the better player. He can pass block. I think come season's end, Ramondre is irrelevant for this football team.
I don't know. I look at him a lot like, honestly, Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson puts up 700 yards every year, around 5 to 8 touchdowns, and he finishes RB29, RB21. I think Ramondre at the end of the day could have 700 yards and 7 touchdowns. And Brian Robinson's not putting up crazy catches. He only had 25 targets and 25 targets, 20 receptions last year. Still finishes RB29. So I think Ramondre could easily pull off that stat line. I'm not going to lie.
Brian Robinson doesn't have a Travion Henderson, though, in that backfield. That's
got Austin Eckler.
Austin
who's an all-time elite catchback.
Yeah, and now he's 31, 32 years old. He's not. He doesn't have the juice
efficient
anymore.
last year. He looked hell of efficient last year.
Yeah, but I don't think he could carry. I don't think he could be. He's nowhere near what he was. Like, he's not a guy who can average 5 yards a carry. Like, I think Travion Henderson is.
Austin Eckler has almost never averaged 5 yards a carry.
Yeah,
so he doesn't need to.
Yeah,
but he doesn't need to, so he doesn't have to.
But I don't think. Well, I think Travion Henderson can be a 5 yard a carry guy and do what Austin Eckler does as a pass catcher. Like, I think Travion Henderson is the receiving game here in New England is a question mark. We don't know. It's a lot of projection. Like, is Steph Diggs, how good's he going to be off his injury? Will Kyle Williams make a jump? Will Demario Douglas make a jump? Like, Matt Collins is here, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk. None of those guys are really going to bring you relevance, and Hunter Henry is what Hunter Henry is. So Drake might just be looking at Travion Henderson, and Travion Henderson could be looking at 80 plus targets this year, just because of if the offensive line is bad, like I think there's a world where TreVeyon Henderson has 70 catches.
That would be a lot. Yeah, I think he's going to be fine this year. I just think Ramondre is going to be actually as involved as he's always been in this offense.
Yeah,
I don't see him dipping away.
And that's going to be how you sort out that. Like, I don't think that, like I said, I have Ramondre going later. I have him at 41. He's going at 37. I think at the end of the year, Ramondre is almost irrelevant to this team and just getting goal line carries, whereas TreVeyon Henderson is getting the fantasy value. He's going right now as the RB24, mid to late 6th round. He's going at the 6-7. I am his RB19. I am bullish on TreVeyon Henderson. I think there is a ton of upside here. Like, I have him as the second ranked rookie running back behind Ashton Chanty. And it's because I think he's going to get a ton of work in the passing game.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable at this point for sure. But I have him at 25, so a spot below his ADP. So we just see the backfield falling differently because I have Ramondre still more involved.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get his targets. I have him at 60 targets for 43 catches currently.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable for sure.
Yeah.
I think 40 catches isn't, but I don't think that's anything to win leagues. I think Austin Eckler can easily have 40 catches.
I have him with 8 touchdowns total. Yeah, four on the ground, 4 through the air. Yeah, I just think TreVeyon Henderson is too much a playmaker and too much of a talent that it eventually just pushes Ramondre to the point where Ramondre is more valuable to the real life team, and it gives you 0 fantasy upside or fantasy relevance, and TreVeyon Henderson is just getting all the important stuff, sans goal line work.
Yeah, we just see that a little bit differently.
Yeah. All right, let's try to sort out this receiving room.
I don't think there is any sorting out this. Half these guys aren't even going to be on the team.
Yeah. Well, I only have 3 guys listed.
Oh, that's crazy. Their receiving room goes like 7 guys deep. We don't even know who the number 2 is.
I have it as the first 3 guys drafted going ADP. That's what I did.
Okay.
Like Mac Hollins is going to make the team, but he's not going to give you fantasy relevance. So he's not really worth talking about.
I get that, but at the end of the day, he might honestly just be one of the most involved receivers on this team.
See, I just think he'll just be on the team as special teamers. He'll be on the field. He might score a good amount of touchdowns.
I think he's their receiver 3.
Okay, see, I have him as the receiver 4.
You have Bourne over him, or you have Williams over him?
Diggs, Williams, Douglas are my top 3 receivers for this team.
Okay.
I don't think Kendrick Bourne makes the team.
I agree, and I don't think Polk's probably not going to make the team.
I don't think Polk or Baker make the team either.
Yeah, which is insane. Like, the whole receiving room is crazy. It's so hard to predict New England's receiving room.
I think you're looking at Diggs, Williams, Douglas, Hollins, Booty will be the 5 receivers. If they carry a 6th, I think it'll be Javon Baker.
Yeah, I would give the 6th spot to Polk just based off draft capital.
See, I did it based off Mac Hollins. Baker is the bigger bodied receiver, so he could replace Mac Hollins if Mac Hollins gets hurt. Whereas Polk's sort of like the other guys in the room. I think they move on from Kendrick Bourne, but yeah, Stephon Diggs, he's the first one being drafted. Last season, he finished as wide receiver 64. He only played 8 games. He's currently going as wide receiver 42. 8th round, 7th pick is his current projection. I have him as wide receiver 55, so I'm a little bit lower on that. He had 47 catches on 64 targets, 496 yards, 3 touchdowns. His 17-game pace would have been nearly 100 catches, 99, 1,054 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So those are good numbers. But those numbers weren't him coming off a serious knee injury. So that's really the question mark here with Diggs, is how relevant he'll be off the injury. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he's on PUP or the IR designated to return, and then that allows them to keep one of the other receivers and then move on from them when Diggs is back. But I think Diggs won't be placed on there. He might miss week 1 or week 2, but I think he's there the majority of the season.
Yeah, I think Diggs plays most games, even if you miss a couple of games here and there. But I think Diggs is going to be the wide receiver 1 on this team. They paid him like he needs to be the wide receiver 1. I think Drake May is going to use him like the wide receiver 1. I trust Steph Diggs if I had to pick one of these receivers.
Diggs in my projection is my wide receiver 1 for them. I have at 55. I have Kyle Williams, though, at 56. I think at the end of the year, Kyle Williams is going to be more relevant. Like, he's a guy to keep an eye on your waivers, snag him a week or 2 early. Like, he's got great separation. He was one of my favorite prospects in the draft. I was a lot higher on him than consensus. He's going at wide receiver 58, so I'm a little bit above where he's going. He's going at the middle of the 12th round, so he's almost a free pick.
Mm-hmm.
So you could play that upside. You could draft him, kind of stash him for a few weeks, and then hope he pops off week 4 or week 5. And then you have a guy with Drake May who could, win you some games. Like, I think Kyle Williams has incredible upside. It's just a matter of how quick does he get on the field with this average crowded receiving room.
Yeah, I see the receiving room a little bit differently just when we do the running back room. That's because there's so many bodies. I have Steph Diggs at wide receiver 48.
So still lower than his current draft position.
I have Demario Douglas at 63, and then I have Kyle Williams at 70.
Okay. I have Demario Douglas at 62.
Okay.
As the wide receiver 3.
Yeah. And I also have Drake May lower than you do, so that's why I don't think the receiving game's going to be anything of relevance after Steph Diggs.
On the Patriots' offense in general, like I think there's room for but you have Diggs 10 spots higher than me. So you think Diggs is the clear alpha here, whereas I am concerned about the knee injury and just his involvement. Like early on, I don't know how effective he'd be. Like, I think come the end of the year, I think Kyle Williams and him could be great values for fantasy. Pop Douglas is, to me, just more of like a spot start here and there bye-week guy who could PPR his way to value. Last season, he had 66 catches on 87 targets, 621 yards, 3 touchdowns. He finished as wide receiver 57. He's going as wide receiver 75. Like, he's not being drafted. I think he's worth taking at the end of the draft just on the chance that he is the one in New England. Yeah. And he could catch 100 balls and just get you dirty, disgusting points, but points are points. At the end of the year, if they lead to wins, you don't care how you got them.
Yeah, the back end of the year, he had a couple finishes, wide receiver 32, wide receiver 31, 37. He had a wide receiver 8 at the beginning of the year. Douglas can have spot weeks and be a flex guy here and there. I see him a little bit more consistent this season than Kyle Williams, but come next season, I think Kyle Williams is their wide receiver 1.
Yeah. But we agree it's those 3 guys.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
For fantasy at least, Matt Collins is going to be on the field all the time. But
Matt Collins is probably going to be on the field snap percentage wise more than all 3 of those guys. Yeah,
because he's going to block, he's going to play special teams. Matt Collins is a great real life football player. He gives you minimal fantasy upside. He
showed up a little bit last year. Like, he had bigger games where he had a touchdown, big play. He can get the job done because he's on the field.
He's a DFS guy. He's a DFS guy when you just run out of money and you just want to throw.
He's very Martez, Valdez, Scantley kind of guy. He's just going to be out there on the field running straight, blocking guys.
He's a vibe. He's a vibe. No shoes. He's an interesting
He's
cat.
Something. He's a trip.
Yeah, and then Hunter Henry, the tight end, he finished as tight end 12 last year. He's currently going as the tight end 20, 14th round, middle of the 14th. I have him currently as tight end 17. He had 97 targets, brought in 66 catches for 674 yards, only 2 touchdowns. There's not a ton of upside for Hunter Henry. He's not going to be a tight end you're going to play every week, but he's a fine spot start here and there. Plus, like, there is touchdown upside for him. He's got 6 touchdowns in a year before. Last year he only had 2. Like, I would creep more towards him getting more touchdowns this year, but less catches and yards.
Yeah, for sure. And the games he even had the touchdowns weren't even like his quote for quote big games, which is hysterical. Like, his touchdown games were 3 catches, 40 yards and a touchdown, 4 catches, 39 yards and a touchdown. But then he has weeks that are like 8 catches, 109 yards, 7 catches, 80 yards, 6 catches, 65 yards, 8 catches for 92 yards. He is the king of the stream tight end. He finishes the tight end 1 last year, you said. He finished as tight end 12.
Yep.
So that is a tight end 1. He is the king of spot starts. I don't think it changes, and I have him at tight end 24, which is criminally low.
Yeah,
but I think he's going to just consistently play throughout the year and finish as like tight end 15.
Yeah. So two years ago, it's a tale of 2 different seasons for Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry was touchdowns. Like, he was getting games where he just had 2 touchdowns a game. And but then he just didn't do anything else otherwise. And then this past year, like you said, the touchdown games weren't his big games. He was pulling in all these other stuff. So Hunter Henry is the king of the stream. He will probably start for 6 teams in your league this year.
He alternates. Last year he had 2 touchdowns. The year after that he had 6. The year before that he had 2. The year after that he had 9. So hey man, expect big old touchdowns from Hunter Henry this year, but absolutely nothing else.
Yep. Like you said, king of the stream, and there's a good chance he almost starts for half the league in your home leagues. For sure. Because he's just a guy, like, if you got to start a tight end, like, okay, I'll just throw Hunter Henry in. He's good for touchdown upside, and that's what you're chasing at the tight end position.
For sure. He's in an offense that doesn't have a lot of like reliable receiving options.
There's a chance he is the number 1 option in the passing game.
Like, target-wise, yeah, for sure, just because he's going to be playing. Like, theoretically, Diggs could miss 4 games, 5 games.
Mm-hmm. Kyle Williams is a third-round pick, so he might not see the field right away. Pop Douglas is inconsistent. Mac Hollins doesn't give you a ton of production for your fantasy. So then it's Jalen Polk, Keyshawn Boutte, Javon Baker. They might not even be on the team.
He had 97 targets last year. He could easily see close to 100 again this year. Yeah. They're not going to be pretty targets or good targets, but sometimes you got to ride dirty in fantasy, and Hunter Henry's going to be a stream.
If you want to take Kyle Pitts or Dalton Kincaid, I'd recommend just using your last round pick then on Hunter Henry and just give you a good fallback.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Or if you want to take Kyle Pitts or Dalton Kincaid, don't. And then just pick Hunter Henry with your last pick, because he's going to finish better than those 2 fucking guys.
All right. How do we see this division shaping out? What's your order?
Buffalo at the top, obviously. And then when I was doing records, I had Miami and New England both at 8-8. I had them tied, but Miami had the tie 8-9. That's what I meant. Miami had the tiebreaker over them, so I'll put Miami in second, New England in third, New York in fourth.
I have the exact same order. I have Buffalo at 14 wins, and then it was Miami and New England both at 8, and then the Jets at 5.
I honestly think we have the exact same wins for the teams as well, to be honest.
I think
I had the Jets at 4 wins.
Okay, I think the Jets could be sneaky though. Like,
I think they're going to be bad.
If Aaron Glenn's a good coach and the defense is good, I think they could sneak their way to like 7 wins. I don't think they're a winning team. Like, I don't think. But like,
I don't think they see 9 wins. I don't think there's a world they see 9 wins.
Miami could tail off, maybe Tua's health, or maybe just things just fall apart in Miami, and there's a chance New England isn't as good as we think they are. Like, maybe just the lack of weapons and the bad offensive line hurts Drake May, and the Jets kind of just sneak in and get 7 wins and finish in second place. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities, but I just think there's a better chance that Miami and New England mostly pay off. We had the under on Miami. They were at 8.5. We have them at 8. But I think New England takes a step up. I think Miami kind of stays where they are. And the Jets could fluctuate. Who knows? But they have pieces that are going to be good for fantasy. I just think real life wise, I think this is a team just going to play a ton of close football games and lose most of them.
I agree. The path to success for the Jets is keeping it 1-score game, grinding the clock, keeping time of possession on your favor.
Pittsburgh football.
100%. And that's where Justin Fields looked at his best. Last year in Pittsburgh, he looked the best he ever did as a quarterback. So that's what you have to do with him. And I hope it does work out for him. Nothing but success. But I don't think the Jets are going to be that good this year, brother.
So we both have Miami at 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Does Mike McDaniel get fired if that's the case?
It depends on how the offense looks. If the offense takes a bit step forward to what they used to be, he'll be safe. But if the offense is like plateaued, it is what it is. It's nothing. We're still doing 2-yard screens to Tyreek and letting him see what happens. He's gone. He's a coach that's hella on the hot seat this year.
I think if they have a losing record, regardless of how good the offense looks, he's out. So I in this case, I'm having him get fired at the end of the year. All right.
I would say he's safe because I think the offense is going to look pretty good this year.
All right. Cool. Here we go.
Hell yeah.
Locked in. Got the same order and everything.
Yeah,
all right,
for sure.
That's our first division. AFC East in the books.
Wrap it up.
We're going to hit you with a somewhat fun one next week with the AFC North. So we'll get to talk about the Ravens, the Bengals.
Big boys.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
Some big boys and then some really disgusting football.
Yeah. All right. That's Nick of the Drafted Up podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Like, rate, subscribe, follow, review, all that good stuff. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Support our friends, Dubby, Finley Hats. We'll catch you guys next week. Adios.
Everyone, go to the cinema. See Fantastic Four. See Superman if you haven't either.
See movies.
Go to the theater.
Go to the movies.
Hell yeah. Support your local theater. Bye. Yeah.